So, hidden sources of allergens. Could this cute little dog possibly be something that is exposing you to gluten? Well, if this little dog is behaving like that dog, and that dog has just eaten dog food that has wheat in it, guess what you've just got all over your mouth? And same thing with your beloved. If they've just had a pizza or they've just had a really nice pastrami sandwich or something, and they have not brushed their teeth and scraped their tongue and rinsed out their mouth, guess what you're going to get in your mouth? So, so some people don't realize it's not just what we eat and we swallow that affects us, but it's anything that goes in our mouth. So these false teeth are fine, there's no gluten in them, but most dental fixative has gluten in it. So unless you're using a fixative that's gluten-free, you're getting exposed every single day you put your teeth in. And also toothpaste. So even though most people don't swallow their toothpaste, if you have a toothpaste that has an ingredient that has gluten in it, you're also getting exposed every time you brush your teeth. So if you're using a toothpaste that has an artificial sweetener in, which most commercial brands do, often because artificial sweeteners are 5% whatever the sweetener is and 95% filler, that filler is often a gluten-containing product. So if it says dextran on an artificial sweetener label, then you know you should not put that in your mouth. I've actually got some Toms of Maine. So I'm assuming I've got a fairly educated audience. Does anybody know if this brand of toothpaste or these two particular ones are okay or not?
They're okay.
Yeah, they are. And they're very good because they tell you the source material of all the different ingredients that they put in. So here, this is a picture of a bakery, and it's got lots of lovely pastries. So it's not just what we put on our mouth, even if we don't swallow. It's also what touches our nasal bulb, because our immune system is constantly sampling everything that we smell. There's enough gluten in the air of most bakeries that a person that's highly gluten sensitive, even if they never put one of those beautiful pastries in their mouth, they'll get set off and get sick. And it's not just what we put in our mouth but don't swallow and what we smell, but it's also anything that's sitting in our skin and absorbs into our skin. Our immune system is also constantly sampling. So this is, I don't know whether wheat germ oil has gluten in it, but wheat germ oil is often the source of vitamin E, put in many lotions, skin lotions, shampoos, body lotions. So at least for my arthritis patients that are highly wheat sensitive, that's enough to trigger their immune system. They go into inflammation, they're sick for a week. Many of my other arthritis patients that have different challenges like soy or a coconut sensitivity, they can use a massage oil or a lotion, and again, they're sick for at least 7 days until that clears their system and their immune system settles down just by putting a lotion on. So now we're going to have a little game of what are all the potential pitfalls with gluten in this particular meal. Gravy, right. So gravy is often thickened with wheat. So there are two more that I know of here. Right. So this is mustard. Prepared mustard is usually made with white vinegar. White vinegar is usually made with wheat, so it's going to have traces of gluten in it. Okay. Even if it's mustard powder straight and no vinegar is added, often it's cut with wheat. So just something that says mustard powder would also be a problem. Anybody have it? This other one's a new hazard.
Are the carrots glazed in some way?
I don't know if they are, but depending on how the carrots were prepared, that could also.
The potatoes?
The potatoes, if they were made from scratch, ought to be okay. But we don't know. You'd have to ask a lot of questions before you ate that meal. So the other one's a brand new hazard that I just recently read about in Science News, one of my windows on the world. Anybody have any idea what it could be? It has to do with the meat.
Additives to the processing.
Yeah, so a lot of times now, even if you think you're buying a pristine cutlet that has nothing added, the meat processing industry is taking pieces of meat and gluing them together, and it's almost impossible to tell that they weren't originally that size and shape. And the glue that they're using is wheat-based. So unless you're buying your meat from someplace like Whole Foods or Sprouts where they're doing full disclosure about their meat and they're very concerned about your health, if you're just going to a regular grocery store, you don't have to put it on the label that they've used this glue and that you're not just getting meat, you're getting wheat. It's actually very angering to me. So, what about this meat? Let's just pretend that the meat is totally pristine and gluten-free. What are the other hazards here for somebody who's gluten sensitive? Exactly. So all sorts of things could be on that grill. If you go to a restaurant and you can't see the grill, you don't know how many other things that were breaded and have gluten were used right before they cooked your meat. So grilled meat is not going to work unless you are the one controlling the grill and you know that no gluten is touching it. Okay, there are many, many, many hazards with coffee. Let's see how many we can get here in the room.